Hello Saberform YouTube, this is BladeCrossEXE, and it's time for another Ultrasabers review. The last one I reviewed was my buddy's Archon V2.1, and that seemed to get some pretty positive feedback on the Saberform. I asked them which saber should I review next of the one I had, and the one that won by overall majority was my Dark Catalyst. This is actually my first Ultrasaber that I got about 2 years ago, 2.5 maybe. It's been a while. And it is in a little bit of rough shape just because of how much I've done to this thing. If any of you saw my first Dark Catalyst review video, you know that I customized it, put a wood handguard on it, held it on with epoxy putty, but that ended up getting broken during a duel, and that's no fault of Ultrasabers itself because, you know, it was made of cheap wood and, well, epoxy putty. It wasn't meant to last very long. And it's actually got a little bit of scraping on there from when I removed it. But that aside, this is a beautiful saber, and the reason I chose it is because of that sleek design on the neck piece and the emitter. This thing is absolutely gorgeous, and I got it in the Adage and Silver LED because I wanted to put color discs in it to change the blade color to anything I wanted before I explored the options of the RGB and Emerald. And this is the Obsidian V3 soundboard, I believe, and it's not an Emerald and it has no flash on clash. But this being an Obsidian soundboard does have some customizable options for whatever sound font you want to put on there. This is actually a mix match of a few different sound fonts on here, and I also have one of my own that I made myself in the Obsidian Soundmaker. That wasn't it. Here it is. That was Zero's theme from Mega Man X1. I put that as the lockup sound. So with the Obsidian soundboard, you can create your own sound effects and put them on here. Now, of course, you'll need the right software to do so first, and it does take some practicing and some getting used to. But that's the beauty of the Obsidian soundboard. You can put your own lightsaber sound effects on your Ultrasaber. And this is an MHS hilt as well, just like the Archon was, so the pommel and emitter pieces are interchangeable. This is the pommel for my Flamberge LE, and this thing is really big. But it still fits because it's still got the same screw socket size. If I can just get it to stay still for a minute. There we go. It's like looks like a scepter almost. And one thing I noticed on the Saberform, the Catalyst is not a very popular dueling model, and after I've had it for myself for a while and have gone through several duels with it, I can understand why. It's because it's a very shallow blade socket right here, and it's full of slits, so the blade isn't as sturdy as it is with some other models. Even though the Archon only had one retention screw, the deeper blade socket made the blade sit in there securely. That's not the case with the Catalyst. It's a beautiful piece on its own, but just as default, with the setup it has, it's not excellent for dueling unless you have a shorter blade. I believe this is a 32-inch when I usually use a 36, and rounded tip I would most highly recommend for dueling, because though pointy tips look nice, they get broken off kind of easily. That's happened to me several times. I think I've only knocked this one off once maybe, and just put it right back on with some Gorilla Super Glue. Now, the beauty of this though, even though this emitter isn't very good for dueling, I have one that is. If I can get this undone real quick, I can show you. Sorry, it's taking a second. Okay. Set that up. Here we have an emitter I bought as a standalone to customize my Flamberge with, the Dark War Glaive emitter with claws. And before anyone asks, no, I don't have the entire War Glaive saber, or else I would review that one as well. But now, actually probably triple the depth of the blade socket so that the blade sits in there really well now, and it also gives you an extension on the grip. So now it's got a much better grip, and this would actually make the Catalyst worth using in a duel. As you can see, even though the blade socket is now deeper, the light still shines all the way to the tip of the saber. This is actually an Ultra Edge blade. It's got the white walls instead of the silver ones. The claws are a very nice look on this. And the thing is, with this new emitter on, if I had the Catalyst pommel installed, the hilt becomes very balanced, because the battery pack is where most of the weight lies, and now we have this heavier emitter, it sits more well balanced in the center, but now that I have this heavier pommel on there, it's a little bit off balance. But yes, if you're going to buy a catalyst for dueling purposes, I recommend a different emitter. But if you just want one for cosplay purposes, then yes, the catalyst is a gorgeous piece to have. I myself didn't get the Corvatec wheel with mine. I kind of regretted that decision later after I decided to stop carrying it around in a scabbard. I actually have some pictures of that on the saber forum if you want to see them. I think that's pretty much all I can say about this saber right here. Like I said, it's a beautiful piece and it's great for display and for costuming and all that, but with the default setup, I would not recommend it for dueling just because it is kind of easy to damage your blade with, and you don't really want to damage the internals. Oh, one more thing. This is only the case with the catalyst emitter that I've seen, and I haven't seen it with any of the others, but this one has a reflector piece inside the emitter. It lets the light shine through a bit better, and you need to be careful of that because it's held in with hot glue. Now, that means that it can come out pretty easily, and it has in the past, but at the same time, it means you can put it right back in with no problems. Aside from that, I think that's all there is to say about the catalyst. You know, I said it before, I'll say it again. Gorgeous saber, yet probably not the best for hardcore duel enthusiasts. But just for the sake of collecting or the sake of looks, I would really recommend this saber. And I don't regret it as my first choice, and I still love this saber very dearly. So this has been BladeCrossEXE, part of Flashing Blade Productions, with another Ultrasabers review. Thank you for watching, check out my other videos, and if you're on the Saber forum, send me a friend request or a PM and we can chat. Alright, see you later.